episode. Loading. Play. You are listening to Freshly Squeezed.
You always aim to make the best songs you can, the biggest songs you can, sort of the biggest hooks and whatnot, and you know that it'd sound great in a bigger venue or a huge festival.
Pineapple.
Hello my friends, welcome to another Freshly Squeezed, your one-stop location for a load of new music every single week where my name's Jim, hi, how you doing? Introduce you to a load of my favourite up-and-coming bands of the moment. Another 4 in the barrels, waiting to be fired into your log holes on today's podcast, including your chance to hear a song for the very first time anywhere in the world ever. One of the tunes on today's show has not been played anywhere outside of the 4 walls of the band's studio, friends and family, that kind of thing. So you're in for a real treat. That is coming up shortly. Also, we're going to be hearing music from the Lancashire 4-piece The Forensics. I'll be introducing you to the up-and-coming alt-rock band Monday's Problem.
The day you're born when you find out why. So maybe now is 2 for 2.
And something stunning to play you from Denver County Council, who aren't from Colorado as the name suggests. They're in fact from my hometown of Manchester, and they are ace.
Beating down Fiesta, a couple of jesters, crazy enough to catch my eye.
Links, as always, to all the bands featured on today's episode in the bio, as well as the place when you're looking in that kind of area that you should be hitting subscribe or follow in your podcasting app so you never miss an episode. But before we get on to all of those bands I just mentioned, like I said, a world-exclusive first play of a brand new tune on today's podcast. That brand new tune is courtesy of another Manchester band called Muddy Elephant, and Sam from Muddy Elephant joins me on the podcast. Sam, nice one, mate. Cheers for the exclusive.
Yeah, no problem. Very excited to have it out, and as you say, world exclusive, so it's very exciting.
How does it feel? Because no one's heard this other than probably your mum, I guess, or something along those lines, or the band have probably had a listen as well. So how does it feel knowing that there's no going back from this point? We'll hit play and then that's it.
Yeah, it's always scary. Like, you never know what kind of reaction you're going to get whenever you put a tune out. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think we've kind of going down this new kind of era with the new tracks. So with this one, it definitely feels like a massive step up from what we've been doing previously.
That's really interesting. You describe it as a new era, because I want to pick up on that. There's something I spotted that I want to get into in a little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll come back to that in a second. But I want to talk about you as a band first, because you bill yourselves, or your PR bills yourself, as the soundtrack to your next house party.
Yeah.
I want to know more about this house party. Where is it? What's the vibe?
So it's in Manchester. That's where the
course.
house party is. Yeah, we all live together now, which is, a load of fun because we can just mess about and get a load of writing done. And it's good fun. But we just kind of like sat down and we wanted to look at how we could kind of, look what our sound is and what we can kind of push out. And, our live shows are all about energy and just having fun, and it's chaotic. And it's all about like getting people involved. And then obviously like with the new house that we've got like this studio upstairs, which we're very lucky to have. And I basically wanted to transport the like upstairs studio to the stage. So it's almost like we're inviting people into our house. Yeah, that's how it ended up, kind of house party indie, which is what we're kind of going for.
Nice. A new genre. What's the booze that's on offer at the house party, by the way? Is there one particular thing that we're going for?
Yeah, it's probably Carlos's homemade limoncello.
Wow.
It's very good. It went down really well. We did a headline show in Manchester, and the bottle disappeared throughout the crowd. It came back and it was pretty much empty, but it was banging. So yeah, hats off to him.
Bold move, bold
Yeah,
choice. I can
very
agree with
bold.
I can feel that one. Right, so you're relatively new as a band, and already you've got a few decent support slots under your belt, but the most intriguing of these is your support slots were busted last summer, and they've got you back to play gigs this year, I think, actually, as well. How did that come about? How did you end up supporting them?
It was basically someone who'd reached out to us. It's a very long story. But it's all, I mean, a lot of the industry is like, a lot about who you know, right? So it's links through links through links who, someone ended up kind of listening to us. And I remember me and Matt, we were just sat on my bed, and this email had come through. I think we were like looking at writing a new tune or something. And then I just opened my emails in front of him, and it just said busted support slot. And now before this, we'd had nothing. So like there was no kind of hint that we'd be doing anything like that. And then we opened the email and it said like, yeah, do you want to support Busted on these shows? And like, it's the band that we grew up listening to. So like out of any band that it could have been, it's like literally perfect. And yeah, we were just jumping on the bed like little kids. It's just mad. And it's proper like, pinch me kind of moments. Yeah.
Does it change the game for you as a band? Not just in terms of the experience you've had and kind of being on those big stages and maybe even being able to kind of getting a bit of mentorship from someone who's been there and done it, but in terms of who's listening to your tunes? Because I'd imagine that Busted's traditional fans weren't necessarily the same demographic or even the same age as the ones that were following you before that support slot.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like a lot of our kind of core following is, sort of younger people. It kind of works with that house party, vibe. So it's like, going out when you're first kind of like 18 and stuff and just having fun. So that's generally where our kind of audience is. But our music does tend to appeal to like a really wide range. We've got like older people who come to shows and stuff, which I love. Like the fact that our music can appeal to younger people and, just across the board. I just absolutely love that. I mean, yeah, the experience is just insane playing on the big stages and stuff. And I'm hoping it changes the game. We'll see. But we still like doing, the proper intimate, sweaty little gigs. That's where it is. That's where you get to properly meet people, and that's where you build your fan base.
You talk about this new tune being a new era. Has that been informed by that experience? Because new tunes stay toxic. It feels like you're really leaning into this indie pop thing a little bit more. Pictures of You was definitely on that route as well. But then you listen back to tunes like Yellow Phone, which was quite Two Door Cinema Clubby, and Rome, which was quite circa wavesy. So is this a conscious progression for you as a band to kind of move into that more indie pop sphere?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the first stuff that we kind of put out was very indie rock. My main influences, I'm from like a slightly heavier background, I'd say. Like I like Queens of the Stone Age, Wonder Horse, that kind of stuff, Nothing But Thieves. But then, we've all got our own influences that we kind of bring forward. And I feel naturally as we've been writing, we've been trying to figure out what, our sound is. We've never really had a certified kind of sound, but like you say, going off all of those other tracks and stuff, they're all indie bands. So I think, yeah, definitely like more indie pop is what is kind of blending into. Yeah, we're kind of just riding this wave at the moment. We love it. It kind of fits with, this new era that we're talking about. And the first track, Picture of You, in this, as this new kind of bit is gone down really well. It's probably our most successful streamed in the first few weeks. So yeah, that certainly says something.
So new tune, Stay Toxic, which, as I said, is going to get its first play anywhere in the world ever in a moment. It's got this really cool bit in it where the lyrics are "Why are you and I," and you kind of sing it as if you're spelling it. It's Y-R-U-N-I. It kind of sounds slightly different in terms of phonetics, and it's got this rhythm to it, which is really cool. I really like it. Where did that fall in the creative process of writing this tune? Because it feels like it could have been like the hook around which you built the whole song, but it also feels like it could be the kind of thing that was added right at the end as like a studio flourish.
Yeah, to be fair, I remember writing it a while ago, and I remember saying it to my friend. I used to work in Doc Martens, and I was just like, I just remember standing by the counter, and we were like, I was explaining this idea that I wanted, like where you spell something out. So I think one of the ideas I'd had was that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F you and your mum and your sister and your job and all that song, wherever it goes. That was kind of like my main kind of influence for it. And it was that just the whole idea of being like, right, what if we get something where we have a tune where we spell it out, and then the whole idea is getting the crowd to spell it out with us.
Right, okay.
So like very much like crowd interaction, kind of everyone chanting it and proper like shouting it. That's how I'm envisioning it anyway. But
have you worked out some kind of like YMCA style dance for it? Yeah.
I think that might be next. We'll have to, we'll have to look at that. But yeah, no, it kind of started with that. And then, like you say, that, it's a hook in itself. And I think the whole track is just full of loads of different hooks and little bits, which is why I think we're quite excited for it, because there's just so much packed into it. Hopefully it should be a song for everyone.
Nice one, Sam. I really like it. It feels like just a good, summery, upbeat, fun tune, and that's exactly what we need sometimes. Sam, really enjoyed chatting to you. Thanks for coming on Freshly Squeezed, and thanks very much for giving us the first play of the brand new tune, Stay Toxic.
No worries. Absolute pleasure, as always, Jim.
Why are you and I so toxic, so toxic? Pisces is likely the wrong time, wrong place, and the same old story. The same old story. Late night calling, calling around for me. You know I'm up for anything. Say it again, honey. Oh, I know, my friends think I've lost it. Maybe I'm for my ex saying toxic. Oh, I know, my friends think I've lost it. Oh my God, I think that I'm toxic. Stay toxic. Stay toxic. Stay toxic. Oh, stay toxic. Wasted, chasing your tears, my thrill. It's not complicated. We're intoxicated.
What do you make of that then? Brand new from Muddy Elephant, and you heard it here on Freshly Squeezed, the new music podcast before anywhere else in the world. Right, important business now. I've just got to go into the police station. Morning, Sarge. Dan's here, yeah?
As in Dan, the person of interest in your Freshly Squeezed up. Yeah, he's here.
Room number 4. Let me just check. That's from the forensics. Is that right?
Yeah, room 4. They'll have a running everything through the database now. I'll give you a shout if they get any hits.
Has he said anything? Has he said anything incriminating? Have we taken prints?
Prints, DNA swab, retina scan, the lot. Not said much yet, but I reckon he's ready to blab.
Okay, so he's ready for interrogation. I'll go find him.
Enjoy.
I'm DC Jim Salveson. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Could you start, please, by confirming your name?
Dan from the forensics.
Thank you. I need to remind you that this interview is being recorded, so you do have the right to remain silent, but if you choose to do so, it's not going to make for a very good podcast. But thanks for coming on Freshly Squeezed, Dan.
Thank you very much for having me.
So hypothetically, if you were to commit some kind of music-based crime or music-based murder, who would it be? What would the weapon of choice be? And what would the motive be behind it? I've just realised that's a bit dark. I probably should have picked a less serious crime.
That's a really tough question to start with. I've honestly, you've probably asked the wrong person for this because I wouldn't hurt a fly.
Well, that's pretty good. You've established yourself a decent alibi. If anyone in the music industry dies in the next few years, you're
It's
fine.
not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. Your slate's clean.
I don't know what I can say about the other members of the band, but I definitely had nothing to do with it.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the band. Let's talk about music. You're proudly as a band from Preston, to the extent of which you seem to really want to avoid being lumped in with the whole kind of Manchester scene, which is something that anyone within a decent 30-mile radius of Manchester gets kind of drawn into anyway, automatically. But what is the reasoning there? Why do you want to be proudly from Preston?
Well, we don't want to be almost like dragged into the same crowd. I'm not saying people claim to be from Manchester intentionally. I think there's a reason why people do end up going down that route. But no, I think we just want to like stay away from that and go kind of our own path. And I think, Preston, Lancashire, it's a smaller pond as well. So I think it's good in that regard. And, we're all proud of where we're from. We want to emphasise that as the band as well. When we write about things, the majority of it is like real experiences. So, that's us, telling stories that's happened in our lives. So we're being true to ourselves in that respect as well.
Is that where you think kind of Preston comes across in your music? Because I think musically, it's very hard to kind of go, this is the sound of Preston. And there are definitely Manchester style tropes in your tunes. But is it in the kind of storytelling and the lyrics and the geography of where you are? That's where you hear your roots.
Yeah. I think obviously Manchester has a very you know a Manchester sounding band, don't you? And like, don't get me wrong, we definitely take massive inspiration from the Manchester area and the Liverpool area. You know, it's hard not to when they're so close. But no, I think we try and make our own kind of sound, and I think, you know, so far we've done well in doing that. You know, you can't really say, oh, they're trying to be like such and such a band that have already done it, in our opinions anyway. I don't know what the listeners and the people outside the band think.
Well, you've definitely got a unique sound, but ironically, I guess, with the new tune Maxine, which is your first of 2025, it's an anthem, and actually it reminds me a lot of a band who were also not from Manchester but get kind of lumped into the Manchester scene thing, because it reminds me a lot of Embrace in the way it builds into this kind of great big epic anthemic sounding space. For a band at your stage where the Forensics are, and with your budgets that you have available, is it kind of difficult to realise that size of sound in the studio, or the size of sound you have a song going that's in your head, and then when you write it you want it to be a certain way, but when you kind of get into that studio space or get into the production, it's maybe difficult to realise that?
I think when it comes to the songs, we definitely want it sound in a certain way, and you know, our producer Tom Hale, he's, I think, barring 2 songs that we've got released, has recorded every single one of our tunes, and he's really good of making the song sound one big, and also he kind of really helps us get what we want out of that song, you know, get the song that we envisioned.
The reason I say that is because I think when I heard the song, I was like, I can imagine this with this like 25-piece orchestra and really kind of building into this massive sound. But and you accomplish some of that, but obviously,
yeah,
a 25-piece orchestra isn't necessarily within your within your reach.
In practice, we always talk about how, I think every tune that we do, it's like, oh, that would sound great with a 25, 30-piece orchestra. And it's like, yeah, in a perfect world, we'd be able to do that. It's a lot of money to do to do things like that. But with other releases coming up and things that we've been recording, we have been incorporating more other like instruments than just guitars, drums and stuff like that. We've kind of expanded, and to be fair, you know, it's sounding really good and really interesting, and we're thoroughly enjoying it.
As I said, this is the first tune of 2025. Am I right in saying that this is the first new music you've released for 16 months? Is that right, or have I got that wrong?
Oh, no, it's not for 16 months, no. I think we released a song called Made of Gold. I think that was September last year. So it's been a good, how long's that?
That's 9 months.
9 months, around 9 months.
So why the delay? What's been the pause? Why the wait until new music?
We actually recorded Maxine, I think, back in, when was it now? I think September, October time. But I think towards the end of 2024, we were a little bit like almost like burnt out because we gigged constantly. We didn't have much. We gigged that much that we kind of neglected the other aspects of the band when it comes to being in the band, like recording and stuff like that. We had a bit of a breather at the start of the year. And then I think around Feb time, we came back into it and then decided what our plan was for the year. And the plan was to get an EP sorted, and Maxine's going to be part of this EP. So there was a bit of a delay in like, well, let's leave it. Let's not release it right away. And then an EP doesn't come until like 18 months later, that kind of thing. But I think it's been well worth the wait. It's probably our most favourite tune and the best one we've done so far.
How has it felt sitting on it in that case? If you've had it in the bag for 9 odd months, how has it felt kind of having it there going, I just want someone to listen to it?
It was, I think, you know, my mates and all of us mates were like, we've recorded this, listen to this. And they're like, that's pretty good, why have you not released it? And it's like, there is a method to what we're doing here. We're just not releasing it. But it was, you know, you just listen back to it and it's like, I just want this out now. Even when like we announced it and I was just like, can we just release it now? Like, please.
Well, more to come. EP on the way very soon. Before I let you go, I noted you've bagged some really decent support slots over the years. You got the Snuts, Andrew Cushin, Deco on the list as well, who people will probably know from their social media cover versions of 80s styles.
Yeah.
If you could add one name to that list before the year is out, one name goes on that list and you go, we've supported them, who would it be in the ideal world?
Well, for me, it will be Fontaine's DC, because I'm a massive Fontaine's DC fan. Paul would probably say Wonder Horse, and Jordan would probably say some random backstreet country artist from Southwest Georgia in America, something like that. He's really obscure.
Dan, absolutely pleasure to speak to you. Thanks very much for your time on Freshly Squeezed. Good luck with the EP when it comes as well. I'm excited to hear more of it. And this interview ends at 2:53. I'd contact a solicitor if I were you.
Thank you for calling Denver County Council. Please select a number and we'll be sure as hell to put you through to the right department as soon as we can. If you want your trash collected, you go ahead and press 1. If you want to complain about that there neighbor of yours, you hit that number 2. If you want to hear Jim talking to the band, well, go ahead and hit 3. You have a nice day now.
Welcome to Freshly Squeezed, Denver County Council and Luke. How you doing, Luke? You okay?
Yeah, not so bad, Jim. Thanks. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, Tom, mate. I need to ask. So, name of the band, Denver County Council. In the average week, how many inquiries do you get on email or social media for the actual Denver County Council, the organisation?
Well, I've been searching high and low to see if it exists. And I think there's one called Denver Parish Council.
Right, okay.
Which I kind of like the sound of. But the Denver County Council actually doesn't exist.
Okay, right.
Denver City Council. So I've got away with that one, I think.
Fair enough. A bullet dodged. I do like it as a name because it instantly gives off kind of an Americana vibe, which is kind of what you're about. There's these Kings of Leon-esque guitar anthem influences in there. And when you sent me Close to You, which was the tune that came out back in February, you said at the time, it hits like a shot of smooth whiskey wrapped in a burst of sunshine indie. So is that what you're going for? Are you going for kind of the desert-esque Americana vibe in your music?
Yeah, I guess so. That was our lovely bassist Josh's smooth words to sort of explain the track. So it's kind of what we see for that tune is very much a sort of summer banger, if you like. I think it does give off very much sunshine in the fields, the festival kind of vibes, and I thought that song sort of sat perfectly. It's what we want to get out of it, and I think we achieved that with that one.
When you're writing festival, big stage, arena-sized tunes like you are, does it make you impatient for success? Because you're playing these in slightly smaller venues at the moment, but you know that when you get onto those big stages, that's when they're going to hit.
Exactly, yeah. It's a good point, Jim, because you always aim to make the best songs you can, the biggest songs you can, sort of the biggest hooks and whatnot, and you know that it'd sound great at a bigger venue or a huge festival. So yeah, you're kind of waiting for someone to go, come on, give us a chance here to play this sort of on a stage that it deserves. But within the same breath, intimate small venues is what I've been doing all my life, and I love it, and I really can feel it in those rooms. But yeah, if anyone's listening that wants to put us on a festival, please do, because we're ready.
Bigger stage, the better. So Close to You is on the debut EP, and we've got another single from it that came out a few weeks back as well, which is called Grace, which is a little bit more chilled than maybe Close to You. Do you have a preference as a band? Do you like to go for the slower grooves, or is it all about those big stadium tunes?
We love big tunes, and we love sort of tunes which dry and big hooks for sure. But This one, we do lean kind of into a bit more of a sort of atmospheric, ballady kind of number when we are writing songs. So this one, Grace, actually fell quite naturally because it was the first song we ever wrote for Denver County Council, probably 4 years ago, before we were even a band, before we had a name. There was just two of us, myself and Jake, writing it on a pub stage, actually, back in Dewsbury, West Yorkshire. And it kind of felt right because it's kind of an ode to our hometown back in Dewsbury. It kind of felt like the lyrics suited more towards a ballad than it would have done maybe a more upbeat tune. So I guess that's sort of the birth of that song and where it come from.
So if Close to You hit like a shot of smooth whiskey wrapped in a burst of indie sunshine, what would be the phrase that sums up Grace? You can keep it booze related if you want.
Probably more like cans of Foster's knocking about a cricket field.
Far more my style, that, to be honest with you. I like that,
yeah. Yes.
So last 12 months, it felt like a bit of a big year as a band. It seemed like you were making constant progress through it, bigger gigs, decent support slots. Neighbourhood Festival was a big kind of stake in the ground as well. When you set out as a band at the beginning of the year, do you kind of go, right, we want to have this done by this date, we want to have the debut EP by this point, we want to be playing to this many people at this point? Do you set out those goals, or is it just you take it as it comes?
Yes, I think you take it as it comes, really, because I think you can't always be, I guess, overly ambitious or not overly ambitious. You can be as ambitious as you like, but maybe not as realistic. It's not as easy as it was maybe a few years ago to get on those bigger stages or bigger support slots. So we were kind of fortunate enough to get a couple of the gigs that we did, and I think that helped us then realise, the standard that we're at and the abilities that we've got. And now we're able to go and play 10 shows on the bounce and go up and down the country and do that. So I think it's kind of stood us in good stead to be able to go on and do that. And I feel ready for it now. But at the same time, it came quite quickly this first year, a couple of UK tours, Neighbourhood Festival, playing at New Century with the Blinders. A lot happened. So then going back to your point before when you're talking about being impatient, then when you come back and play some smaller shows and that kind of goes away and a little bit momentum loses, then you can get that a little bit of impatience. But I think we're match fit, we know that we're ready, and I think that we're more eager than ever to be able to do bigger and better things in the next 12 months for sure.
Big 12 months ahead.
Yeah.
Before you go, Luke, I need to put you to the test. So you're called Denver County Council. There isn't a Denver County Council, but there is a Denver City Council. So I want to know how much you know about Denver.
Oh, God.
In which US state would you find Denver?
Colorado.
Good, well done. Points on the board.
That's the first. If I'd not got that right, I would have been in big trouble.
Denver's NFL team are known as the what?
Denver Broncos.
Very good. Luke, 2 from 2.
Yeah, I'm happy with this so far.
Which Denver band had a hit with Ho Hey in 2012?
The Lumineers.
Very good. You know your Denver facts. One more. See if you can go full house.
Yeah, let's have it.
There's a 3-digit short code that you can dial by phone if you're in the US that gets you straight through to Denver City Council. What is that short code?
If you're in the US, you're dialing it when you're in the US.
Well, if you can give me the UK number, I'm even more interested.
I'm going to go 357.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Oh, 311 is the answer.
Oh, not bad.
1 out of 3 ain't bad. Good score, 3 out of 4, 75% success rate. Luke, pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with the EP that's out now, and thanks for joining me on Freshly Squeezed.
There's trouble on Westbrook, a cameo suggested, waiting waters as he works the room, a beaten down Western, a show up in Texas. I know the blundered on Golden Mile.
Face from Denver County Council. It's off their brand new EP, which is out now. If you want to hear more of that, links in the bio. Go click it. But up next on Freshly Squeezed, it's Monday's Problem. I've got Josh, I've got Joe, I've got Ruben. We don't yet have Cass, who's suffering with pneumonia, so probably won't be joining. Sam as well is being a bit tardy and late. He might join at some point. So to the guys that are here, welcome to Freshly Squeezed.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Is this a regular problem with Sam? Is he normally like a little bit late to the party? Does he turn up to rehearsals late? Does he walk on halfway through a gig and just pick up his bass and start playing? Is this normal?
Yeah, I'd say pretty accurate, to be fair. I mean, most of us are usually, it's only really Sam and Cass are on time, so...
Actually, I think I'm quite punctual.
Oh, yeah, Joe and Cass, sorry, Joe, didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
If we were going to place a bet, we've got like 5 minutes or so. If we're going to place a bet on Sam turning up at any point over the next 5 minutes, what do you think the odds are?
Ooh, 5 minutes might be pushing it.
Okay. It's not within the window.
Yeah, I'd give it 10, maybe 10.
All right, well, let's see. Let's crack on and see what happens. So we're here to talk about the new tune, Harry Boy, and as if by magic, Sam's only gone and joined.
Oh,
hello.
There we go.
Sam.
There he is. We've already started, mate. You've missed the beginning of the interview, but that's cool. We can crack on.
Apologies.
It's all right. It's fine. So we're here to talk about the brand new tune, Harry Boy, which we're going to be getting on shortly. So this is the final track off the new EP, is that right?
this is the second to last one. So
second to last, okay.
5 in total, I think.
How does it feel to know that you have got that EP in the pipeline? Obviously, a few tracks have been out already. This one is brand new. Does it feel like a really big step for the band to be taking?
I think so, yeah, because like we've always been saying we want to have kind of a body of work out, not just a bunch of singles. So it'd be nice to have something there that, you know, after people see us live and stuff, we can go see it, have a listen. It's just nice for us to get the tunes out that we've been working on for past like a year or so.
When you've been working on the tunes, you've been recording them, and then you finally get to play them live, does that change your relationship with the songs in any way? Does the song maybe that was your least favourite, you see the crowd going off for it and you're going, oh, well, actually, no, that's kind of going up in my estimation now?
I'd say, like, I think it depends on the song. Like, there's a few we've played that I remember they kind of go both way around. Like, there was one we played in practice, and we really liked it, and it was like probably our favourite song we had at the time. Had it for however long, and then listened to it back and played it live, and it just like didn't quite feel the same, and then scrapped that one. And then there's like others where you play it in practice and then you play it live, and it's so much better, and kind of like the energy of it is pretty sick.
Hello.
Oh, Cass, you're here!
I love this. It's like slowly people are joining. I'm wondering how many people by the end of the interview we're going to have on this. It's going to be like,
How's it going,
Rod? You recovered, mate?
No, still ill, mate. Still ill. Getting through it though.
Well, Cass, welcome to Freshly Squeezed. It's good to have the full complement of you boys here now.
Thank you.
To catch you up, we're talking about the brand new EP. We're talking about the tunes that are out there already. I'm interested as a band because you've got a load of tunes out there already. They're on streaming services. Some of them doing some really decent numbers. Do you find yourselves getting a little bit obsessed with the numbers, kind of watching the counters going up, wondering who's listening in Kuala Lumpur, that kind of thing?
Joe, that you just told you.
No, that's just me checking like every minute of every hour of every day.
Single time I speak to Joe, he's updating us on TikTok line, TikTok comments.
If you asked him right now, he probably knows what number we're on, I bet.
On streams, I ain't got a clue.
It's kind of hard these days not to focus on the numbers because it's kind of what everyone cares about more than the music sometimes. And it's like, I feel like sometimes you've got to just kind of think, oh, let's just make the tunes and worry about it later. But it does get a bit tricky not paying attention to it.
It's so there and black and white in your face now in a way that it never would have been historically. You would have had an idea of who was playing your tune on the radio or maybe who was talking about you or who was turning up to gigs. But now it's kind of very, very clear who's consuming your music, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, on a way, though, it's nice to see that, you know, people are listening to the tunes and, you know, kind of get that feedback from people that I guess you couldn't really got in the past. And just like little comments and stuff, like it's always nice to see that people are enjoying it as much as like we enjoy making them. When you make a song and you really love it and then other people feel the same, it's pretty nice.
So this new one, Harry Boy, I think is a little bit different to what I've heard before from you guys. It kind of shows a different side of the band. 18 was very Arctic Monkeys. Shades of Queens of the Stone Age, I think, about Not a Love Song. It was a bit more rock and roll. So to help us get our heads around a little bit this new tune, I want to invite you boys into my Mind HMV. You're privileged, not every band gets to come in here. So you just step this way into my Mind HMV. So, Sherlock Holmes has a mind palace. I have a mind HMV. It's where I categorise and store all the music I've ever heard. All the music in the world pretty much is here. Loads of different categories. Over there you've got Himalayan goat opera. Over there you've got 80s funk flute. I want you to put Harry Boy in a section of my mind HMV. It has to be a joint decision. Where do you want it to go?
Jeez.
I mean, it's quite a mix of a lot of different things, I feel. I don't feel like it's any like single thing.
I think that's because we all have quite different influences.
Yeah.
What would you say when you, because it all came from Ruben's guitar part. So like, what would you, when you wrote the guitar part, what would you reckon then, if we just went with that on its own?
I've got no idea. I was just messing about.
I always thought it was, that guitar riff was very, very kind of weirdly Radiohead, but it hasn't evolved like that. It's a very Radiohead riff on its own. In terms of how the song involved, it's nothing like it. The initial riff is definitely quite Radiohead, quite like Weird Fishes type thing.
Okay, well, we'll put it in. How about we stick it in this category here, which is noughties, indie / Radiohead beginnings vibes.
Oh,
sounds good.
It's amazing I had that category ready to go, but it's there. All right, we're going to bang it in there. Next, if that was a challenge, we could be here for hours with this one. We need a position for it. We're going to put it between two records that you think are sonically similar. So alphabetically organising stuff is really boring. We need to base this on inspiration. So over there you've got Franz Ferdinand next to David Bowie. Over there, Hotel California by the Eagles, right next to Jethro Tull's We Used to Know. So, 2 songs or artists to place this new tune between. What are you going for?
I feel like when I did like the vocal lines and stuff in the lyrics, and then mixed with the guitar, bit of like New Abnormal by The Strokes. I feel like that album in some ways had like a mix of kind of their old style, like vocals and stuff like that, and kind of indie rock, and then the kind of jangly guitar underneath. So I think it kind of fits that in some way.
Okay, so we're going to have that on one side. So old school Strokes on one side. What about the other side? What's going there?
I was thinking, the intro almost sounds a little bit like Butterflies by Wonder Horse. So I was thinking maybe a bit of Wonder Horse.
A bit of Wonder Horse, bit of New Abnormal.
Yeah.
Nice one. We'll bang it there. I wouldn't worry about it too much. The kids will come in and mess up all the orders anyway, so it'll only be there temporarily. But we'll stick it there for now. We'll stick it on the shelves of the Mind HMV. Nice one. We're going to get the brand new tune on in a second. Before I do, just tell me a little bit about it. Where did the story start?
Well, like I say, like we started with Ruben's guitar part that he brought in one day, and we all just like, we were in practice and he just played it and it was like, oh, that's sick, that. You know, you just hear something, it's like, oh, like, you know that's going to be good. And so we had that, and then I went home and did all the lyrics and the vocals and stuff. And I think with our previous tunes, like I've never really sang that much on a song, so I was just trying to kind of like actually let myself sing a bit with the chorus and stuff, which we haven't really done before. And then lyrically, I feel it's a bit more honest than the first few, a bit more about like actual things rather than just random stuff that's going on in life.
Boys, lovely to chat to you. I'm excited for the new EP. I think there's a load of different shades on it. It's quite an eclectic sound. It shows off a load of different gears you've got, which is definitely a good thing. Also delighted to have eventually got the full compliment on the podcast. So cheers for your time on Freshly Squeezed.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Harry Boy, well, he's a well-made man, crafted by old boys, own damn hands, and got it all worked out by everyone else. He's a hooter, he's a worker, should be proud of himself. Looks ahead and what does he see? Is a light in the tunnel, as dead as he is. Is there money, is it fame, that's the aim of the game? Well, he doesn't know, cause he's done it their way. This life is full of circles. Guess I'm flying the other way. And I try to dream in purple, not the blue of yesterday.
Wrapping up with that brand new tune from Monday's Problem, that is Harry Boy. They are the 4th band we have featured on today's Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, and the final band as well. If you like what you hear from them, or you like Muddy Elephant, or you like the Forensics, or you like Denver County Council, well, you best go click the links in the bio, roots through to loads of their music, loads of their back catalogue on Spotify. And also, if you liked that, well, you're going to like future episodes of Freshly Squeezed, because every week we uncover some more brilliant new artists. So make sure you've clicked subscribe, make sure you've clicked follow, and make sure if you've got a musical tip, tell me about it. Let me know who you're seeing in your local working man's club or in your grassroots venue or wherever it is. Slide into my DMs on social or leave a review for the podcast in Spotify, Apple or wherever it is you're listening, and name check the bands that you want to hear from that you think deserve to be featured in that. That is it for this episode of Freshly Squeezed. Cheers to your ears. See you next time.
Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and hosted by Jim Salveson. Sound design and additional production by Ant McGinley. The game show music was Cowboy Sting by Kevin McCloud and appears under Creative Commons License 4.0. Find out more about Kevin's music at incompetech.com. The music, Blue Blazer, is written and produced by Spin Class. Stop.